Have you ever felt, completely overwhelmed trying to learn a new language?
Oh, absolutely.
Like you're just staring at this dense textbook, and the idea of actually speaking, it just feels miles away.
Yeah, like a distant dream.
But what if the key to unlocking real practical fluency was actually kind of hidden in plain sight?
Right there in your everyday life.
Exactly, in the most accessible parts of your day.
It's such a common challenge, isn't it? Bridging that gap between memorizing words and actually using the language to say what you mean.
Yeah.
So today we're doing a deep dive into something incredibly practical, maybe even overlooked sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a method for quickly building confidence and fluency in English by, well, simply talking about your daily routine.
Your daily routine. That sounds simple. Maybe too simple.
Well, that's what we're going to unpack. Our mission for this deep dive is to look at why focusing on your own experiences can be like the ultimate shortcut to real usable English.
And how you can actually do it step by step.
Exactly. We've looked at different learning strategies, especially for beginners, A1, A2 levels.
Right.
And what keeps coming up is the power of moving at a slow, natural pace, using clear, simple words, and using repetition to really build that confidence.
So it's not just about cramming vocabulary.
Not at all. It's more about active absorption. It emphasizes listening, repeating, even this thing called shadowing.
Shadowing, what's that exactly?
It's basically mimicking the sound and rhythm of a native speaker, like following their shadow, linguistically speaking.
Oh.
The goal is just to make the language feel completely natural, almost like an extension of your own thinking.
And this is where your own day comes in, right?
Yeah.
Why does that matter so much?
Because it's profoundly real and it's deeply familiar. Your daily routine is something you live every single day. You know it inside out.
So you don't have to struggle for complicated ideas about, history or science or politics.
Precisely. You just talk about your life, what you actually do.
That sounds much less daunting.
It significantly reduces what psychologists call cognitive load.
Cognitive load.
Yeah, the mental effort needed to process new stuff.
Right.
When you're learning new English words and structures, but applying them to things you already understand deeply, like your morning coffee routine.
Right.
Your brain can focus its energy on the language itself. It doesn't have to juggle understanding new concepts and new words simultaneously.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It lowers the barrier, makes it less intimidating, more immediate.
Exactly. You're reinforcing language around your personal reality.
So let's dig into that core idea. Real English, leading to real confidence. You mentioned an aha moment for learners.
Yeah, it often happens when they realize, hey, when I describe my day, I'm practicing useful English. Stuff I can actually use with real people.
Not just textbook exercises.
Right. It helps you move beyond constantly translating in your head. You actually start to, think in English and speak more naturally using simple, complete sentences.
That thinking in English bit sounds like the holy grail for learners. How does talking about your day help get you there?
Well, it fundamentally shifts your internal process. Instead of your brain doing that awkward two-step translation native language to English, it starts building direct pathways.
Okay.
When you describe familiar actions, things you actually did, your brain accesses these established concepts, and it can sort of bypass that translation step.
Ah, I see. So it connects the language directly to the experience.
Exactly. It builds fluency faster because English becomes part of your lived experience, not some separate analytical task you have to perform.
Let's paint a picture. That relatable scenario you mentioned, meeting someone new.
Right. And they ask that simple question, what did you do today?
Yeah, happens all the time.
If you've practiced talking about your day, even just to yourself, you can respond confidently. Simple, full ideas. I woke up at 7. I went to work. I had coffee, answered emails.
In the evening, I made dinner and watched TV.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy, but it's real communication.
Exactly. No mental gymnastics needed. And the beauty of it is you can practice this anywhere.
You don't need a classroom.
Nope. Even if you're alone or maybe feeling a bit shy, you can practice just by talking about your day, out loud or even silently in your head.
It's like a built-in, low-pressure practice zone.
Totally.
So what if someone's starting out and thinks, I don't even know what to say about my day? Where do they begin?
Just start with really easy personal questions like prompts.
Such as?
What did I actually do today? Okay, what time did I wake up? What did I eat? Did I go anywhere? What about the evening? What did I do then?
Simple triggers.
Yeah, and they're great because they tap into your own memory, your autobiographical memory.
Why is that important?
Because recalling vocabulary and forming sentences is much easier when the context is already locked in your mind, your own experience.
Right, you're not inventing scenarios.
Exactly. It removes the pressure. You can focus purely on the English structure, the flow. It helps build good habits, thinking in full sentences without the stress.
And it's flexible, too. You mentioned practicing in the morning about yesterday or in the evening about today.
Yeah, or even recording yourself. That's a powerful tool.
Listening back. Ooh, that can be tough but useful.
It really is. You hear things you don't notice while speaking, but the key, the absolute foundation.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. Use the English you already know. And honestly, truly, don't worry about mistakes.
Easier said than done sometimes.
I know, but language learning is iterative. It's step by step. One sentence today, maybe two tomorrow. Next week, a whole little story about your day.
Each repetition strengthens those pathways you talked about.
Exactly. It gets easier.
Okay, let's break it down then. Part 1. The morning routine. You said it sets the tone for the day, right?
It really does. For many people, it sets the mood, gives you energy, and it's usually quite predictable.
Which makes it perfect for practice. But how do you fit it in without adding more stress to the morning rush?
That's a great question. It's not about adding tasks. It's about integrating English into what you're already doing.
Like multitasking, but for language.
Sort of. Think about those few quiet moments when you first wake up or while the coffee's brewing. Those little pockets of time. The perfect low-pressure moments to just think in English about what's happening.
Turning routine into a kind of practice ritual.
Exactly.
So let's get practical. Some common morning actions and phrases people can adapt. Waking up.
Okay, simple stuff. I usually wake up at 7. Or maybe sometimes I wake up earlier, around 6:30 if I have a lot on.
Or the opposite. If I sleep late, I feel tired the next morning. What about those first few moments in bed?
You could think or say, I stay in bed for a few minutes and think about my day. Or, I like to take a deep breath and stretch my arms and legs.
These seem very basic, but I guess that's the point.
Absolutely. They're immediately useful, low cognitive load. They reinforce basic grammar, simple present tense, mostly without being overwhelming. Everyone gets these actions. They're the building blocks.
Okay, then getting ready. Actually getting out of bed.
Then I sit up slowly and get out of bed. Simple sequence. Then maybe I walk to the bathroom.
Personal hygiene stuff.
Yeah, I brush my teeth slowly and carefully for 2 minutes. Adding little details makes it more real. Or, then I wash my face with cold water. It helps me feel awake.
Right. What about showering?
Sometimes I take a quick shower, especially if I feel sleepy. And here's a neat trick for learners.
Oh.
When I shower, I like to play soft music. Or, even better, I listen to English audio, like a podcast, perhaps.
Sneaky. But actually, that's smart, integrating listening into a passive routine.
It's called habit stacking. Layering a new habit listening to English onto one you already have, like showering. It makes it easier to stick with.
So English becomes part of life, not just study time.
That's the goal.
Okay, post-shower. Dressing.
Simple phrases. After my shower, I dry off and put on my clothes. Describing the clothes. I try to wear something clean and comfortable.
Or, more specific, sometimes I wear jeans and a t-shirt. Or, if I have a meeting or class, I wear something more formal. Then, for many people, it's breakfast and drinks.
Right. Next, I go to the kitchen and prepare my breakfast. Describing the food. I usually eat something simple, like toast, eggs, and fruit.
Or, sometimes I have cereal with milk and a banana. What if you had more time?
If I have more time, I make an omelet or oatmeal. And maybe add how you eat. I like to eat slowly so I can enjoy my food.
Good reminder. And drinks.
I drink coffee most mornings. Or sometimes I drink green tea because it feels light and fresh.
Again, very common vocabulary. Stuff you use daily.
That's the point. You're building a foundation around your actual life. Much better than memorizing random word lists. It's practical, functional English right from the start.
Okay, what about other little morning activities before heading out?
While eating, I sometimes watch a short video or check the news, or other days I just enjoy the quiet and listen to birds outside. Little moments.
And the final steps before leaving the house.
Before I leave the house, I check my phone. Then I look at the time and read my messages. I check my calendar, see if I have any meetings or appointments.
The mental checklist.
Yeah.
And packing.
I pack my bag with everything I need. My phone, notebook, keys, water bottle, whatever your items are. Then the final action, I put on my shoes and go out the door.
That really walks you through the whole morning.
It does. And now, the important part for you, the listener. take these examples and apply them. Think about your morning. How do these phrases fit?
Or how would you change them slightly?
Exactly. Practice telling your own morning story. Even if it's just in your head or whispered, that's where the real learning kicks in.
Right. Okay, let's shift gears. The afternoon routine, sustaining your day and your English practice. This part of the day is often busy, right? Work, study.
Yeah, definitely
Valid.
can be, but it still offers really good opportunities for English practice, even just for 5 or 10 minutes.
So how do you weave it in when you're already focused on other tasks?
It's about microlearning again, and using the context you're already in. You don't need a full hour blocked off.
Okay, so like going back to work or study after lunch.
You could think or say, after lunch, I go back to work. Maybe add how you feel. Sometimes I feel a little sleepy after I eat. Relatable.
Huh, definitely. What about typical tasks?
I check my emails and answer the important ones first. Or communication. I often read messages from coworkers or classmates. Meetings. I usually have 1 or 2 meetings in the afternoon.
Or maybe sometimes I meet with a client or my manager to talk about tasks.
Right.
Real world stuff.
Exactly. And if you're working from home,
Good point. Like the people do.
you can describe that setup. If I work from home, I sit at my desk and open my laptop. What you do? I type reports or prepare presentations, planning. Also look at my calendar to see what I need to do next.
Even describing your workspace.
Yeah, I like to keep my desk clean and organized. It helps me think clearly. Describing your immediate environment is a fantastic way to use and learn vocabulary in context.
It connects the word, like organized, to your actual desk. Makes it stick.
Precisely.
What about breaks? Everyone needs those.
Absolutely. I usually take a short break around 3.0. Simple actions. I make a cup of tea or drink some water, or sometimes I eat a small snack like fruit or a biscuit.
Little pockets of English practice.
Yeah.
And if you manage some outdoor time,
Even better, if I have time, I go for a short walk to get fresh air. Maybe add why. Even 10 minutes outside helps me feel better.
or describe it. If the weather is nice, I walk around the block or sit in the sun.
Yeah, it reminds you that language learning isn't stuck at a desk. You can integrate it with movement, with observing things. English is a tool for living.
I like that. Now, what if you actually do have some dedicated free time in the afternoon for English study?
That's great. You can be intentional. When I have free time in the afternoon, I study English and then describe how. Sometimes I listen to a podcast, hint, hint, while I take a walk. Or other times I read a short article or a story online. Listening practice. I also watch slow English videos to help with listening.
And speaking practice. You mentioned shadowing earlier.
Yes, I repeat short phrases out loud to practice speaking. And specifically, shadowing helps me speak more fluently and clearly.
Why is shadowing so effective again?
It trains your mouth and your ears to coordinate. You improve pronunciation, intonation, even how fast you process spoken English. It's active listening that feeds directly into speaking better.
Makes sense. Okay, nearing the end of the workday. Wrapping up.
Good practice to reflect. Before I finish work, I write down what I did. Helps with organization, sure, but also English practice. This helps me stay organized and ready for the next day.
And maybe add a specific English goal.
Yeah, like sometimes I write one new word I learned today, or I like to review my English notebook before I stop for the day. Just a quick review.
It cements the learning.
Exactly. So thinking about the afternoon, what stands out to you, the listener? How could you describe your afternoon using some of these ideas, moving from just hearing it to actually using it?
That's the challenge.
Okay.
Final stretch. The evening and night routine. Winding down, reflecting.
This is often a really nice time, maybe less pressure than the workday. It's a natural time for reviewing the day, which, if you do it in English, becomes great self-practice.
Consolidates everything. So common evening actions. Arriving home.
I come home at 6 in the evening, perhaps. Then I take off my shoes and sit down for a few minutes to rest. What you do to relax. I sometimes watch the news or listen to music to relax.
Sounds peaceful. Then dinner time.
I cook dinner, or maybe I order food if I feel tired. Eating. I eat dinner at the table with my family, if applicable. And the conversation. We talk about our day and share stories.
Again, simple actions, simple English. But useful.
And notice how describing these things naturally brings in different tenses, talking about what happened, what you usually do, maybe what you will do tomorrow.
Good point. What about after dinner?
Chores first. After dinner, I clean the kitchen and wash the dishes. Then maybe, sometimes I go for a short walk after dinner.
And then winding down before bed.
Those calming activities. Before bed, I read a book or listen to calming music. Final prep. I take a shower and brush my teeth. And the end, I go to bed around 10:30 or 11.
And that brings the day to a close.
Described in English. So now, the challenge for you listening is to put it all together. Reflect on your entire day using these kinds of phrases.
What time do you wake up? What do you eat? Work, study, home life, afternoons, evenings.
How can you string together those simple sentences to tell your story? That's where the real actionable learning happens.
So we've just explored how to, well, master describing your daily routine in English. And it feels like real progress is possible this way.
It really is, because you're not just studying English in the abstract, you're using English. You're kind of living in English one sentence at a time.
It makes English part of your mental landscape, not just a subject.
Exactly. Keep building that confidence. Keep practicing your routine until it feels easy, automatic.
And maybe revisit this deep dive. Listen again, shadow the phrases.
Definitely. And each time, try to add a little more detail, a bit more nuance to your personal story as your English gets better.
It's amazing how this seemingly small act, just describing your day, can hold so much power for language learning.
It really transforms it from something abstract into a living, breathing part of your reality.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. What simple, consistent action in your own day could you transform into a powerful English learning opportunity, starting today?
Great question. And if this deep dive has helped you see a clearer path for your English, maybe share it with someone else who could benefit.
Yeah, pass it on. And please keep exploring with us for more insights and practical strategies for learning and growth.